has already agreed and is going to marry you off to Governor Chu's son.
This marriage will make us much closer. Mr. Hong, this almost feels predestined.
曾以为只是寒冷如常的冬天，不管我。
Unaona Tim?
Yes, mawiti yani unasikia ni kama uko hai.
Ni kama ndio.
Unasikia fiti.
Hii ni mali yangu, safi alafu inaenda chain huko.
Mali yako?
Unconditional baby.
Baby sikufanya kitu alafu sikuwa najua. Ati nasikia nini?
Nini ame? Unamsikiza huyu. Sasa na wewe unaongea na mnakani kama ujui hii story. Unakaa na mnakani Lakini madhile tabia unafanya simu tuli unafaa kuwa Lendi Mbianga.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii ya jitume mwenyewe kwa simu yako, bonyeza *811 *963#.
Unavyojikakamua kupata ufanisi, ndivyo utakavyofurahi baada ya kufanikiwa. Usisubiri kusukumwa na mtu, jitume mwenyewe.
Ili kupata skiza tune hii, bonyeza *811 *963#, *811 *963#.
A very good morning to you. It's so good to have you join us on KBC Channel 1. I know it is Thursday, the 16th day of September 2021. You expected BizCheck, but today we have changed things a little bit. We are going to be focusing on something that is happening today at the Judiciary, and of course, we will be letting you in on that. My name is Safina Cheng Oma. First of all, thank you so much, and you can interact with us on social media at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag NewsCheck this morning. Our focus is particularly on the Judiciary today. They are set to be launching, first of all, the vision of the Chief Justice Martha Koome, and of course also they are going to be launching the Judiciary Performance Management and Measurement Understandings Evaluation Report for the year 2019 to 2020. This is going to be happening at the Supreme Court this morning, and of course we remember it's coming just slightly over 100 days after the Chief Justice Martha Koome took office, and sort of expressed a lot of optimism in trying to change how things are done at the Judiciary. We'll be getting to know more about what her vision is, and of course what this report has to say with regards to how business has been conducted along the corridors of justice. We will be talking in studio here and also linking up with our team at the Supreme Court, and I want us to start right about now at the Supreme Court. Joining us now is Ben Troy Njue, just to give us a picture of what is already happening this morning, and of course we will be linking up with Ben Troy Njue a little bit later in the course of this particular broadcast. But remember, Martha Koome was appointed as Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya on May 19th, the year 2021. And of course, she was sworn in on the 21st of May at State House, Nairobi. And of course, we remember her taking the instruments of power officially on the 24th of May when the Judiciary hosted the Assumption of Office ceremony. So a lot was on her in tray, which included convincing the executive, first of all, to swear in the 40 judges that were pending, and of course also addressing the issue of the huge backlog of cases, and also addressing the funding issue of the judiciary. And we will be discussing that and much more on what the Chief Justice ought to do to make things right along the corridors of justice. And I'll be doing this together with my guest, who is already in studio to have this very important conversation with me, Steve Mogaka, a constitutional lawyer. You're not a new face, Steve. Thank you so much for creating time for us once again.
Anytime, and good morning, viewers and Safin. Here to ensure that we install the vision of the new First Lady, Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, we really can't wait to hear what she has in store. I know there's a lot that she's expected to do, especially being the first female CJ. All eyes are on her right now. But just to kick us off, it's been 100 days plus. You know, what would you say about how she has fared so far?
No, to be honest, she has come into office with gusto. And like you would expect, they say in philosophy, if you don't know where you are going, you won't get lost. At least the Chief Justice today is showing us where she's going. And once she maps out her journey in office, I trust that we shall be evaluating her based on, the landmarks she's going to lay down today, indicating this is the way we are going, this is the way Kenya, and it is a moment for us all Kenyans now then to look up and say, are we being driven in the right direction? Being a lady, obviously, she will bring a lot of, cleanliness, tidiness.
Oh, really?
Well, that is God-given. Yeah, we expect her to bring a lot of tidiness, a lot of inclusivity, the motherly angle to it. And I trust that she will carry everybody on board. And we can't see the long-awaited harmony between the three arms of government, checking one another, but keeping to one another's lane.
And I'll be engaging you on how that can work, and the judiciary also manages to maintain their independence at the same time a little bit later. But you've rightfully said that there's a lot that is expected of her. She came into office officially on the 24th of May. What sort of judiciary did she walk into? First of all, let's begin there.
Fine. She walked into a judiciary that had been transformed by and large initially by a person by a Chief Justice from civil society, who was like radically changing the judiciary to what we saw it turn out to be. And the baton came to a faith stickler, the Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga, a very uncompromising Chief Justice. And we are coming now, she's inheriting a judiciary that had been, shall I say, radicalized, that had been assured of the confidence, that had been assured of the independence in decision-making, that has been, had seen quite a drastic improvement in their terms of service, that had stopped looking over their back before writing a decision or a judgment of a matter that they have conducted. And we are then now seeing a judiciary that Martha Koome is inheriting, that had come from a standoff between the executive and of course the Judicial Service Commission, and we are seeing her building bridges between the executive and the judiciary, which has obviously led to appointment of some judges that had been long pending. We have seen building bridges with the legislature to the extent that we have seen the budgetary pass being opened from the Treasury. And we have seen a Chief Justice who has not radically changed. It is actually, if you like, a feminine judiciary. Because if you look at the composition of the judiciary, Chief Justice, lady, Deputy Chief Justice, lady, the registrars, chief registrars, lady, the bulk of the judges, ladies. So we are really getting into very new waters that are likely to define, if you like, the woman of Kenya, particularly in safeguarding the rule of law in this country and to ensure that justice is done to all. So mother inherits a woman-rich judiciary, and we do hope that we will not see what we hear in politics, that women bring women down.
I like how you sort of analyzed this using the
but the vision today will tell it all.
Yeah?
Yes.
They say that the judiciary is one of the institutions in Kenya that actually, when it comes to observance of the two-thirds gender rule, the judiciary is actually doing a very good job towards that direction. What do you think?
No, it
true?
is kudos, first of all, to the Judicial Service Commission that has seen this happen. And secondly, of course, to the chairs of those, preceding chairs of the Judicial Service Commission, that is Justice Willie Mutunga and Chief Justice David Maraga, because it has been deliberate moves that have achieved this. It has not happened by chance. And indeed, it puts them at a very high pedestal, even when they are presiding over the two-third gender rule article of the Constitution, because they are making decisions from a point of pride that we are one of the arms of the government and we are compliant. And therefore, they are truly mandated and quite lawfully so to speak down on the other arms of government that are not compliant, and I really commend them, and we do hope that CJ, her ladyship, Mother Kome, will keep on that trajectory, so that if anything, if we are poorer in gender in the other arms of government, let us be the richer in one compliant arm of the government, which is the judiciary.
All right, because I want us to finalize on that gender question, just very quickly, what will it take for the current leadership at the judiciary, which is basically composed of a good chunk of women? What will it take for them to sort of assure the country that if women are entrusted with these positions, they can actually deliver? What will they have to do to affirm, the nation on that regard?
No, not much. What I will do is ask all the women in the judiciary to go and read the acceptance speech of the Tanzanian president, who said that what you are saying is the president who is a woman. It is not a woman who is the president. So what we have in Kenya are very serious judges who are women. It is not women who are judges. Right. So that really that should disabuse them of any gender and look at it from judicial minds and give Kenyans the judicial decisions that they deserve, and really up the tidiness in our judicial arm.
All right, hold on, Steve. We'll be coming back to you in just a bit. Right now, let's cross over to the Supreme Court of Kenya. And joining us now live is Ben Troy Njue. He's going to be having a conversation with Rose Washuka, who is the Chief of Staff at the Judicial Service Commission, on what is expected today. Troy, it's over to you.
Good morning, and good morning. You back in studio, and good morning, Kenya. Actually, we are coming to you live from the Supreme Court, and as you can see, colorful and exquisite. Hardly suitable words to describe the environment here. Today being a very special day for the judiciary, and indeed for Chief Justice Martha Koome. It's slightly over 100 days since she took over the reins of power at the third arm of government, and today she will be launching her vision. As you can see behind me, the vision: social transformation through access to justice, and also she will be launching the performance management and measurement understanding evaluation report for the year 2019-2020. But for now, allow me to kindly to speak to one of the judiciary staff. She is the chief of staff in the office of the CJ, Madam Rose Washuka. Kindly, okay, you can remove your mask.
Okay.
Yes, kindly tell us something about today.
I mean, today is just a monumental day. After 100 days of office, the Honorable Chief Justice is going to unveil her vision for the judiciary to Kenyans. And this is a very fundamental vision because it seeks to expand the doorways of justice, really take justice closer to the people. And it continues from where the judiciary transformation framework, the sustaining judiciary transformation stopped, and continues with that transformation work. But, just reforming registries, intensivizing the uptake of and use of ICT, sharing leadership. The Honorable Chief Justice has indicated that she wants every judge, every judicial officer, wherever they are, to feel like they're the Chief Justice of their stations. And then, of course, the idea of active case management to clear the backlog of cases. So it is a vision that really is easy to understand. It is negotiated within the judiciary. It is collectively developed and will set the pace for the development of the next 10-year judiciary transformation framework.
Indeed, and I can say for the last 100 days, a lot has happened. Of course, she talked about the judiciary transformation agenda, which Chief Justice Emeritus actually from where he left. What are some of the things that you can say you've been able to achieve at least in the 100 days? We've seen some small courts launched, small claims courts have been, and of course the ADR. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, so the alternative dispute resolution agenda has been big on the agenda of the Honorable Chief Justice, and she commenced work by engaging the core stakeholders, state actors within the NCAJ, which is the National Council on Administration of Justice, and agreeing on how to move forward the delivery of justice within or in the post-COVID era. We have seen, the revival of negotiations and the establishment of the Judiciary Fund. And that means that starting July 2022, the Judiciary will actually now, the Judiciary Fund will be fully operational, which is a big milestone considering it has been more, close to 10 years since the Constitution actually mandated the establishment of the Judiciary Fund. Over and above that, the Honorable Chief Justice has engaged partners internally and externally, and for a long time the judiciary has been neglected in terms of security, and for the first time now we have a judiciary police unit that is headed by a full commission of police. And what this means is that we can guarantee security 3,000 officers strong across the country to guard courts, to guard assets that belong to Kenyans and are held in the custody of the judiciary. So that's a big milestone as well. The other big milestones, of course, is the establishment of mediation suites in all the court stations to just make sure that she's mainstreaming the ADR agenda, among many others.
Yes, indeed. And some Kenyans have said that the appointment of the judges also was a big milestone, just less than a few days after she wrote the letter to the president.
Absolutely. Yes, that was indeed a big milestone because we now have seen the operation of courts that were not operational before. We have the Court of Appeal now operational in Kisumu. We have the Court of Appeal sitting in Mombasa. We have ELRC, ELC judges in stations that didn't have them. And so the effect has been that the wheels of justice continue to move and courts cases continue to be dispensed with.
Indeed, and when she took over the reins of power, she talked about expediting cases from 5 years to around 3 years. Is that firmly on course?
Yes, that is firmly on course. There has been internal agreements that no case should be in a trial court for more than 3 years or in the appellate court for more than 1 year. And there are mechanisms, as you will see in the performance management report. It is very significant, the duality of this launch of the vision, but also the performance management findings from 2019-2020. And those are some of the commitments that have been delivered by judges and judicial officers across the country to make sure there is active case management to actually really just dispense with case backlog. And the registries as the heartbeat of the court system, we are bound to see significant transformation of registries. And then, of course, the idea of shared power and shared leadership also makes judges, judicial officers really feel they are capable. Of course they are, and they're in charge of their dockets, and that should move ahead some of the cases that are pending in court. And we've already started seeing significant and monumental movement with case clearance rates of about 112% since assumption of office in some stations.
And indeed, when every time we have a function here, the development partners always here, and she talked about them she was assuming power and say that she looks forward to working very well with the development partners. I've seen some of them here. Can you kindly touch on them?
Yes. Development partners have been of monumental significance to the judiciary. You have the World Bank supported JPIP project that has constructed courts across the country, and that's coming to an end by the end of October. And then you have UNODC, you have ambassadors, high commissioners, foreign envoys, really supporting the cause of justice. And as you know, we have to embrace the ideals of co-petition and engage everyone, the private sector, civil sector, development partners, and within government delivering as one. And so that dialogic approach, which is very core and is actually highlighted in the CJ's vision, is what is powering this dialogic style of leadership that is very inspiring and that is very solution-oriented.
Indeed. And judicial funding has been quite a hot potato, if you ask me, because you do remember Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga did talk about funding and, of course, talked about we need more money so that we may be able to afford and make sure that all Kenyans access justice. Of course, she did talk about she has talked about judiciary being underfunded and understaffed. What are some of the plans that are on the pipeline to ensure that you achieve this?
I mean, the judiciary has an understaffing issue, as the Honorable Chief Justice has said, and she really recognizes the work done by her predecessors, Dr. Willie Mutunga, Justice David Maraga Emeritus, and she's picking up and continuing that legacy. She's picking up the negotiations to make sure that the judiciary is funded properly from where Justice Emeritus David Maraga left off, and she's optimistic that these discussions and dialogue will yield something, because the responsibility to deliver justice to Kenyans belongs with all of us. And I can say that she has had amazing, great deliberations with the National Treasury and with the other agencies that are concerned with providing the judiciary with resources. So she's firmly on that agenda.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, Safina have been speaking to the Chief of Staff in the Office of the Chief Justice, and that is Rose Washuka, and she has put it firmly that the judiciary and CJ are firmly on course to ensure the judiciary transformation agenda that was left behind by Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga continues, and now she is about to launch her vision for the judiciary in the next coming years. Indeed, we will continue updating you on each and everything that will be happening here. I can tell you for a fact is that people have already streamed in. The development partners on my immediate left is the table that the JSC commissioners are sitting. On my left is the judges table. So we will be updating you on what will be happening, and as soon as she's here, we will go straight to her vision. I'm Ben Troinjwe from the Supreme Court. Back to you in studio.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for that comprehensive reporting there. Ben Troinjwe coming to us live from the Supreme Court of Kenya. That venue there is going to be hosting stakeholders from different departments, development partners, and the judiciary as well, to discuss issues on which touch on the way forward, how business is going to be run at the judiciary. Today, the Chief Justice, Martha Koome, is set to launch her vision, and of course, she's also going to be launching the performance management and measurement understandings evaluation report for the year 2019 and 2020. Ben there has been speaking to Rose Washuka, the Chief of Staff at the Office of the Chief Justice, and in studio here, I just want us to go back to our interview. Steve, you've heard what Rose, has highlighted there, some of the what I would term achievements of the CJ in their 100 days in office, and also plans that lie ahead as she continues to lead the judiciary. They've talked about quite a number of pertinent issues. I'd just like us to pick up from there. Issues that touch on the funding of the judiciary, and revealing there that at least by July 2022, there will be going to be now a full-blown operationalization of the judiciary fund. And of course, also, she has said that the CJ is really passionate about alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, and so far she's saying that there are mediation suits in all courts just to advance this ADR agenda. So far we have at least a police unit to enhance the security of including even the judges. There is also, that vision and drive to ensure that cases do not stay in trial stage for more than 3 years. And I can go on and on about, what she has touched on as some of the things that the CJ has achieved and is planning to achieve as she leads the judiciary. What is it that's standing out for you, or also in terms of, her scorecard so far?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Safin. First of all, I need to appreciate Madam Washuka, because she's very new in the judiciary. In fact, reporting a few days after the Chief Justice was sworn in. And she seems to have quickly settled in to have a grasp of end-to-end of the happenings and planning in the judiciary. So I really need to commend her. And when you come across her, give her a word of encouragement, because the Chief Justice needs such a Chief of Staff to deliver. Secondly, before I come to you, is that the judiciary is usually not sufficiently funded. And fortunately, when we got the 2010 Constitution, development partners were enthusiastic in supporting the implementation of the 2010 Constitution, so much so that the first Chief Justice got a lot of support from the development partners. But they were dwindling towards the tail end of his term, only to bounce back when the Supreme Court overturned the presidential election, because then that brought another new enthusiasm among the development partners to, like, Kenya is uncomparable to anywhere. And then we got a string of some support from development partners, to the extent that several court buildings were developed. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome comes in and has to employ whatever strategy is in our toolkit to attract a new form of funding, because by the time Emeritus David Maraga CJ was leaving, you heard him cry loudly that the judiciary is starved of funds. So it is like CJ Koome moved into the judiciary, which is broke. And one of the things that she has to work on for the resumption of donor support into the judiciary, one, is to unveil this vision that she's doing today, so that she creates a new hope for stakeholders to step in and give this support to the judiciary.
So her vision has to be sellable.
Her vision has to be sellable, and really today is the market day, and today is really the day she has to court the suitors, rather to court the development partners with a vision that will persuade them to be part of it, and if she succeeds, the country succeeds. If she fails, the country fails, because a lack of justice, lack of access to justice means chaos and anarchy in this country. So today is really, as Washuka said, is a really momentous day for this country, and it is a country that we should be in a prayer mode that whatever our Chief Justice sells to the world actually gets bias. And I can't wait, and that is why I can't be more excited that she's a lady, packaging it, branding it with all the tidiness, and I can't wait for her to take the mic and tell the whole world that this is the time to invest in oiling the wheels of justice of the Republic of Kenya. Tall order, but I think she must be equal to the task.
There is no other alternative.
I mean, she doesn't have a choice. I tell you, it is now or never.
Just going back to the issue of funding of the judiciary, I mean, how destructive can it be in terms of the dispensation of justice if the judiciary is crippled in terms of finance? How bad can it get?
It is truly bad, because when we talk of cases lying in court for decades, and some of those cases relate to land, and land is one of the most critical factors of production in this country, then you can see how the development of a country depends on the performance of the judicial arm. Remember, we have disputes involving commercial transactions of colossal amounts of money, and until those decisions are made, that money is locked up. It is not circulating in the economy, and therefore the country is starved of the cash that it badly needs for economic development. So much so that the essence of the 2010 Constitution was to have everything devolved. We cannot talk of devolving executive power, legislative power, because we have assemblies and governors in the counties, without a dispute resolution mechanism, which is the judiciary. So it was the intention of the 2010 Constitution that every county is fully serviced by the judiciary, having a judge, particularly for land, and judges for other functions. If I speak for my county, Nyamira, it had a judge until the other day, when that judge has been deployed elsewhere. Maybe the explanation is lack of funds. No matter that, or don't worry that the Chief Justice Emeritus comes from that particular county. And during the launch of that county, the people of Nyamira County applied for a land court because of the pressure of land in that region. I mean, they pleaded with the Chief Justice, who happens to come from there and understands that people are killing one another because of boundaries, because of the pressure on land.
And it
is a very emotive issue, and the people did request and were given an approval to be supplied with a judge for land matters in addition to the existing judge for civil matters. But as we speak today, that judge has been withdrawn. Even that judge that was there has been withdrawn, and even the land court judge that had been promised, is a pipe dream. So that therefore shows how exposed our 47 counties are if they are not fully serviced with the judiciary. Remember, we hear politicians talk of that corruption has been devolved. How then do we combat corruption if we have not put there sufficient infrastructure for having people investigated, arrested, and arraigned right there where they have committed acts of corruption? So the a strong judiciary, a properly funded judiciary, will lead us to a dispute-free environment, so that the backlogs we have, the lockup we have of a lot of land, a lot of money in commercial transaction, and a lot of historical injustice questions would be addressed. So we can't say more about how important the judicial arm of government is.
All right. So as she steps up to announce her vision, if you were to buy that product, what are some of the fundamental, just 4 issues that you want highlighted in that vision?
I want to see how Justice Martha Koome is going to fund the building of courts in all counties of this republic. Because as we speak, a court in Kericho has been condemned. They were operating from a building that has now been condemned. We want to see how Martha Koome is going to sell her vision on how to supply judges to all counties in this republic, so that like in northern Kenya, people have to travel 100 kilometers on foot or on a camel to get to near where a court is located. I want to see how the judge is going to enhance training of our judicial officers and judges, because as lawyers in practice undergo continuous training on emerging branches and areas of law, so that if a new branch of law emerges, it gets very frustrating when, as a specialized lawyer, you appear up before an ignorant judge. So we want to see how Justice Koome is going to fund continuous and effective training of our judges, so that they are up to the task in dealing with whatever. And we also want to know, now that we are proud that a police wing has been set up in the judiciary, we want to know and understand how that judiciary police is going to be funded. Is it going to be funded by an already broke judiciary account, or is that the function of the Ministry of Interior? More importantly, we want to know what mechanisms Justice Martha Koome is going to put for us to have an independent judiciary fund, because it is provided for under the Constitution. This business of always making trips to Parliament to persuade them to fund the judiciary is actually an affront on the judiciary, which is supposed to be independently funded to do their programs as they require. But as for now, she just has to sell her vision, so that development partners top up the Fuliza and send the judiciary a little more money for operations. And this is why I'm pleading with Kenyans.
I can't even believe you suggested Fuliza for this.
I want to plead with Kenyans that our judiciary needs an independent fund. It is provided for in the Constitution. Our taxes are enough. We want to see, whenever budget is read, when MPs are given their CDF funding, we want to see a direct injection of funding to the judiciary, so that they are independent, so that they stop coming to bow before politicians to be given an additional coin to run their affairs.
All right, Steve, you talked about training, and just so that you can understand the trends, and even the judges can be trained on this. Just in a recent interview we had here with the Chief Justice Martha Koome, as she was talking about some of the things that are in the pipeline, she touched on something known as the Judicial Service Academy, which is said to be established in Ngong. Are you optimistic about this? I mean, is it going to address at least some of the issues you're raising?
Oh, certainly. Oh, certainly. Up to now, we have been having a judicial institute operating from some rented residential house in Karen. The good news is, and I think that is going to be part of her vision she's unveiling, is that government has allocated judiciary land to develop an academy. And it is one thing setting up an academy, it is another providing sufficient software for training of judges and judicial officers. So we want to see a situation where development partners are going to volunteer links with other international judicial academies, so that like you were hearing during the BBI judgment citations from cases from South Africa, cases from India. We want to see a transfer of that knowledge together with the institutes or in liaison with the institutes of progressive countries in the world, linking with our judicial academy, so that Kenya is the hub of business, international business. We should have no less than the best. We should be comparing with the best countries in this world.
Well said, Steve. Steve Mogaka there, shedding light on some of the expectations that we have with the judiciary as we await for the launch of the vision of the Chief Justice Martha Koome. We just want to quickly cross over to the Supreme Court of Kenya right now. The event has already started, and today the Chief Justice Martha Koome is going to be launching her vision, slightly over 100 days in office, and of course she's also going to be launching the Performance Management and Measurement Understanding Evaluation Report for the year 2019 and 2020. Let's just cross over there and listen in to what is happening. Then we'll be coming back to continue with our conversation in studio.
That we are doing as the judiciary. We started in the year 2015, and this is the 5th cycle. So it is a joint ceremony where we have the launch of the vision of the Honorable the Chief Justice, and also the launch of this particular performance measurement and evaluation report for the year 2019 and 2020. And we are very delighted to have you here today with us to witness this important occasion and to celebrate together with us and give us your support. But to welcome you formally, to welcome the Honorable the Chief Registrar, Anna Madi, to make her opening and welcome remarks. The Honorable the Chief Registrar, please.
The Honorable the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, the Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Honorable the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Margaret Kamar, Justice Agnes Murgor, Chair of the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, the Head of Public Service, represented by the Deputy Head of Public Service, Mr. Musiambo, members of the Judicial Service Commission here present, honorable judges, I see judges of the Supreme Court, I see the President of the Court of Appeal, I see judges of the High Court and Courts of Equal Status, I see the Honorable Jennifer Shamala representing the Chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. I see Mr. Thuku here representing the Inspector General, National Police Service, Madam Triza Mugaza from IDLO. I see Madam Caroline Saroni, Chair of the Advocates Complaints Commission. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great pleasure for me this morning to welcome you at this official launch of the Honorable the Chief Justice's vision for the judiciary, as well as the launch of the annual Performance Management and Measurement Evaluation Report of the 5th cycle of the implementation for the year 2019-2020. This is yet another special occasion for us in the judiciary, and indeed for the people of Kenya, as it gives us an opportunity to have an honest engagement with all our stakeholders and consumers of justice. The judiciary is established to deliver expeditious delivery of justice to all, regardless of status, and this is what we promise Kenyans as we strive to do what we do, as we hold ourselves accountable to the people of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, those of us gathered here this morning and others following the event through other media and social platforms will have an opportunity to witness the Honorable the Chief Justice's launch, the launch of her 10-year vision for the judiciary. This, for us, heralds a new beginning for the judiciary, as the vision provides a compass for the judiciary that will guide our programs and projects for the next 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the vision comes at a critical time when the judiciary, like all other institutions, is dealing with the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, which brought about new ways of working, mainly through the use of technology. And we have had to quickly move to virtual courts and the working from home approach. The vision provides new impetus and critical pillars to focus on in the new dispensation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Justice will also launch the 2019-2020 Performance Management and Measurement Understandings Evaluation Report, which articulates the efforts, the achievements, the challenges, and the lessons learned by courts and administrative units in their pursuit to deliver justice. Over the years, the judiciary has continually undertaken performance measurement and management and measurement understandings as a critical cog of reforms and initiatives geared towards improving our operations and service delivery. Every year, resources are devoted to this process to enhance both court and individual performance and accountability. The public launch of this report, therefore, affords us the opportunity to showcase our achievements and also reflect on our next steps. Ladies and gentlemen, may I take this opportunity to congratulate the Honorable the Chief Justice on the launch of her vision for the judiciary, which will guide our operations, as well as thank her for her leadership and support in the institutionalization of performance management and measurement in the judiciary. I also want to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to appreciate Honorable Justice Agnes Murgor and her team, together with the entire administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, for diligently undertaking this mandate year in, year out, and making this day possible. I appreciate the effort and work put in by all judges, all judicial officers and staff to improve our output and service to the public. I take this opportunity also to give my special commendation to those whose hard work, diligence, and commitment to service will be recognized today. We are also indeed grateful to all our partners in the justice sector, as well as the development partners, some of whom are represented here, for their continued support. Thank you all very much. May God bless you, and once again, welcome to the judiciary this morning. May God bless us all.
Thank you very much, the Honorable the Chief Registrar, for those remarks and welcoming our partners and our friends. It is now my pleasure to welcome the representative of the Honorable the Attorney General, Caroline Saruni, the chairperson of the Advocates Complaints Commission, to read the remarks of the Honorable Attorney General. Welcome.
The Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Professor Margaret Kamar, the Honorable Jennifer Shambala, representing the Chairman of JLAC, the Honorable Deputy Head of Public Service, members of the Judicial Service Commission present, Honorable Judges and Magistrates present, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Caroline Saroni. I am the current chairperson of the Advocates Complaints Commission, today representing the Honorable Attorney General, and I will kindly proceed to read his remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to join you this morning for this significant event. I should begin by thanking the Honorable the Chief Justice for inviting me and to express my gratitude to her and to all those who have worked to make today a success. The judiciary is a major actor in the implementation of our Constitution. Indeed, it is the arm of government that the Constitution vests with the mandate of interpreting the law, including the Constitution. This makes the court critical players in the development of our law and in access to justice generally. For as the philosopher Ronald Dworkin argues in his 1982 essay, Law as Interpretation, legal practice is an exercise in interpretation not only when lawyers interpret particular documents or statutes. The law makes propositions, lawyers make reports to judges on what they think the propositions of law mean, and judges do tell us what those propositions actually mean. Given the centrality of the place of the judiciary in what I will call our rule of law project, it only makes sense that the judiciary has to be guided by a clear and foresighted vision that will inform the delivery of its mandate in the years to come. The Gospel of Luke reports, and that is in chapter 14, verse 28, the counsel of Jesus Christ on planning and vision, and quotes Christ as saying, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and was not able to finish. The tower of an independent, efficient, and accessible judiciary that is responsive to the aspiration of the people of Kenya as a true guardian of the Constitution and the rule of law must be built on a solid foundation based on a clear plan and vision. The launch today of the social transformation through access to justice vision is therefore a commendable step in the right direction. May I, at this juncture, also take this opportunity to laud the Honorable Chief Justice, retired Dr. Willie Mutunga, and the Honorable Chief Justice, retired David Maranga, for the visionary blueprints by which they steered the judiciary to where it is today, and upon which today's vision is built. The Office of the Attorney General and Department of Justice is a stakeholder in the judiciary and the court in various ways, including as a court user. In that behalf, can I assure you that we will continue to provide all the possible support towards ensuring the success of the judiciary's vision. We will continue to provide our input and support, for instance, towards ensuring that our judiciary remains responsive to the ever-dynamic legal and justice environment. As you would very well appreciate, the dynamism is not just in the law itself, but also in the context within which such law is to be interpreted and implemented. A definitive aspect of this is technology. It is remarkable that in less than a year, electronic filings and virtual hearings have become the order of the day. Lawyers no longer need to physically attend court. Neither do they need to be physically present in brick and mortar offices. This is commendable as it demonstrates the judiciary's and the legal profession's agility in the face of dynamism. There is obviously more that is coming in the way of technology beyond electronic filings and virtual hearings. We must gear ourselves up for this in order to survive in the ever-changing environment. We need to appreciate, for instance, the effect of artificial intelligence on the practice of law. As I conclude, my Lady Justice, may I also commend the fact that the judiciary has now institutionalized performance management through the performance management and measurement understanding. The best way we can confirm progress in the implementation of the vision and indeed the strategic plan is through performance evaluation. This way, we assess our scores in terms of what we have achieved against what we had set out to achieve. This enhances not just performance, but also accountability. My Lady the Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and attention, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Saroni, for those remarks from the Honorable the Attorney General. Indeed, thank you for acknowledging the effort that the judiciary has rolled out, in particular the electronic and technological improvement and the issues to do with the performance management. I think for the sake of our audience, it would be nice to inform you that Kenya was the first country, the first judiciary in Africa to actually implement the performance management system. I thought that deserves a clap or some sort of recognition, because it is not an easy thing to implement. So we are trailblazers when it comes to the issues of performance management. At this juncture, I wish to recognize and call Dr. Fred Ojambo to make his remarks as the chairperson of the Senior Bar.
The Honorable Lady Justice Martha Karunga Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, my lords and my ladies, judges of various courts here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to adopt the protocols which have been laid out before on account of time. Chief Justice, I'm privileged to be asked to say a few words on behalf of the Senior Counsel Bar on this very auspicious occasion of the unfurling of the Honorable Chief Justice's vision for the judiciary after only 100 days in office. Your Ladyship will also undertake a public evaluation of the milestones which have been marked by the judiciary against the goals which have been set before. Those two objectives for today make this a historic moment. The performance of the judiciary from this day henceforth will forever trace its origin back to today and will be measured against the declarations which may or may not be made at this event. My Lady, the Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater cause than to make justice accessible to all, not just to the rich and influential, or even only to the indigent or infirm, but to all people without distinction or discrimination. Yet, Lady Justice, that is one of the most difficult goals to achieve in reality, in light of the fact that a plethora of factors impinge upon and sometimes inhibit the dispensation of justice. Your Ladyship's headline address today, namely social transformation through access to justice, is undoubtedly a most ambitious aim. It is also a brave and laudable move by your Ladyship, for which the senior bar heartily congratulates you. We do so, however, alive to the enormous challenges which lie in wait. We can think of at least 3 areas of interest in that respect, which may be abiding points of reference perhaps throughout your entire tenure as Chief Justice. The first is perception. No doubt considerable attention will be paid to the issue of perception. The public view and understanding of the judiciary is an essential adjunct to the dispensation of justice. For justice is not only that which is given out by courts in accordance with the law. There is a sense in which justice can only be said to have legitimacy if it commends itself to all participants. Consequently, the most immediate threat to any effort to universal access to justice will be the issue of reputation. While the perception of anything is not necessarily the substance of it, it may accelerate or impede the growth or effectiveness of the thing in the ecosystem in which it exists. Reputation, therefore, is important. And so we come to the people. Reputation is often less about the mechanisms and systems of justice and more about the people at the center of the justice business, to employ such an irreverent or even inappropriate term. An independent, efficient, accessible, and responsive judiciary is one whose members exhibit those qualities. Thus, the greatest investments going forward will primarily and fundamentally be in the people, the adjudicators themselves, and those who support them. They must not simply wield judicial power. On the contrary, they must exude, reflect, and exercise judicial authority. As Article 10 of the 2010 Constitution declares, judicial authority is derived from the people and vests in and shall be exercised by the courts and tribunals established by or under this Constitution. That authority must bear as its hallmark the national values and principles of governance which bind all state organs, state officers, public officers, and all persons at all times, and particularly whenever any of them discharges their official functions. Those values and principles of governance include, amongst others, patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and participation of the people. They also traverse patriotism, national unity, sharing and devolution of power, the rule of law, democracy and participation of the people, and also our principles of human dignity, equity, social justice, inclusiveness, equality, human rights, non-discrimination and protection of the marginalized, good governance, integrity, transparency and accountability, and sustainable development. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, it is no secret that the legal profession is in constant struggle to actualize and maintain these high values and principles within its fabric. And we stand ready and willing to be of support to your ladyship, the Chief Justice, in your efforts to inculcate similar culture in the judiciary. This is in recognition that the profession is a wingless bird unless the judiciary remains above reproach. It must not only be an institution with an impeccable reputation, but an institution with character. Strange as it might appear, my Lady Chief Justice, another challenge will be the motivation for making the intended improvements in the judiciary. It is possible that the entire exercise may be driven by the need for legacy, the mark which one may wish to leave behind when one exits the stage. Noble as that may be, there is probably a higher calling to which one might aspire. People who have left their imprint on the historical scoreboard have seldom set out to make an impact. They have gone about what they do purely for the love of it and for its own sake. Yet it is in the course of discharging what they see as their solemn duty that they have made history. In their lifetime, they or what they do may be misunderstood or even vilified, but in due course the excellence of their achievements will be self-evident. Today, therefore, the senior bar cheers you on, Chief Justice, and your colleagues on the bench as you cast your vision to the future of this august institution. Do what you do because it is right to do it, and not for any cosmetic or aesthetic purpose. Thirdly, the Lady Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, on the thresholds is the challenge of technology, which has already been mentioned from this podium before. If the global COVID-19 pandemic has taught us anything at all, it is that we must increasingly embrace and employ technology in all we do. The judiciary is not accepted in this. Indeed, it has already demonstrated a tremendous appetite in this respect. The one veritable way of confronting and vanquishing once and for all time the ogre of backlog of cases is to embrace technology in various segments of judicial work. The efficiency of the system will much depend on the manner in which technology can be insinuated into the entire judicial process. Lady Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, while I have highlighted those three aspects of challenges, there are, in a true sense, opportunities open to your ladyship, the Chief Justice, and the entire judiciary. I have no hesitation in saying that you have all the requisite assets, intellectual, psychological, not to mention the determination to see the entire project to a successful completion. And at that point, my lady, the Chief Justice, you, as with the Apostle Paul of old, would say, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. In 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fred Ojambo, for those very challenging remarks on the values, the motivation, and the place of technology in the transformation of the judiciary. At this point, I'd like to invite the Honorable Justice David Majanja, who is the chairperson of the Committee on the Administration of Justice at the Judicial Service Commission, to make his remarks. Justice Majanja.
The Honorable Chief Justice and President of Supreme Court, Chair of the Judicial Service Commission, Honorable Martha Koome, the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, assembled guests, my fellow commissioners, judges, judicial officers, members of the judiciary staff, ladies and gentlemen, forgive me if I do not go through all the protocols, but I adopt what has been said fully. We are congregated here today to witness the unveiling of the Chief Justice's vision, as well as the launch of the Performance Management and Measurement Understanding Evaluation Report 2019-2020. Let me congratulate the Honorable, my lady, the Chief Justice, for being appointed the 15th Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya through a very competitive and transparent recruitment process. Having witnessed the significant accomplishments of your leadership, after just over 100 days in office, you have, as promised, hit the road running. Today's launches, particularly that of your vision, are further confirmation of your leadership's commitment to ensuring that the judiciary continues to effectively discharge its mandate of expeditious delivery of justice. My Lady Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, the core mandate of the Judicial Service Commission is to promote and facilitate the independence and accountability of the judiciary and the efficient, effective, and transparent administration of justice. This, of course, resonates with the core tenets contained in the social transformation through access to justice vision of that your leadership is launching here today. The Commission attaches entirely with the principles, strategies, and proposals contained in your vision, and your leadership can rely on the full support of the Commission as you continue to craft the strategic blueprint towards realization of the outcomes for the judiciary as contained in your vision for the judiciary over the next decade. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution of Kenya has bestowed a huge responsibility on the judiciary to dispense justice fairly to all, irrespective of the status and without undue delay. Your leadership, your experiences as a judge, jurist, and practitioner have placed you in good stead to understand the challenges that this institution faces, as well as the expectation of the public and court users for the substantive, effective, and efficient dispensation of justice. This knowledge and understanding is reflected in the vision you launched today. Through implementation of this vision in partnership with institutional partners such as the Judicial Service Commission, we can be assured of increased efficiency and increased levels of trust and confidence in the judiciary. As a Commission, we promise to give you our full support in the implementation of various strategies to ensure that the inspiring and transformational vision contained in the vision you launched today will be achieved. I am also happy to join you in the launch of the 2019-2020 Performance Evaluation Report, which provides key highlights of achievements of the courts on the annual target set. It is not a coincidence that the Honorable the Chief Justice chose to launch the PMMU report and your vision in tandem. It is in recognition of the fact that performance measurement and management, reliable and actionable data, accountability and transparency in service delivery are at the core of the realization of any organizational improvement and transformation. In regard to the JSC, the PMMU reports provide incredible critical data and information essential to our decision making in various respects, including budgeting, recruitment, promotion, training, and discipline. The Commission is committed to enhancing and strengthening the performance management process in the judiciary, so as to enhance both individual and collective accountability for results, even as we work towards going forward. We need to ensure increased use of performance data, which should be embedded in all judiciary programs and initiatives, including measuring their impact and effectiveness. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, allow me, on behalf of the Commission and Commissioners present here, to register my appreciation for the continuous contribution and great sacrifices of the judges, judicial officers, and judicial staff who work tirelessly, sometimes under very difficult conditions, to ensure and improve service delivery in dispensation of justice. Also allow me, Your Ladyship, Chief Justice, again on behalf of the commissioners on the launch of your vision, to reiterate our support as commissioners and that of the Judicial Service Commission to realization of its noble ideals. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Justice Majanja, and for your very welcome remarks to support the Honorable the Chief Justice in her vision as you chair this very important committee on the administration of justice. Thank you. At this juncture, I'd like to welcome the chairperson of the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, Justice Agnes Murgo, who has been superintending over this very important process in performance management and evaluation. Justice Murgo.
Thank you. My Lady, the Honorable the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Martha Koome. My Lady, the Honorable the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Philomena Mwilu. My Lords and Ladies, Judges of the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court and Courts of Equal Status, the representatives of the Houses of Parliament, Professor Margaret Kamar and Jennifer Shamala, the Judicial Service Commissioners present here today, the representatives of the justice players and stakeholders in the justice system, Honorable Anna Madi, the Chief Registrar, judicial officers, staff, and registrars. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to observe all the protocols that have been listed this morning. Before I give my remarks, First, allow me again to congratulate the Honorable the Chief Justice on her appointment and for according me this great honor and privilege to chair this newly constituted Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee of the Judiciary, whose membership and mandate has been expanded. Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Justice, and congratulations. It has been more than half a decade now since the introduction of performance management framework in the judiciary, and I look back with satisfaction at the great strides that we have made across the institution. It cannot be gainsaid that performance management is broadly accepted as one of the modern management practices that augments and enshrines the values of transparency and accountability, both in the public and private sector. By now, we all appreciate that in judiciaries across the world, a key precept of enhancing service delivery and improving administration of justice is through application of the international measures of court excellence. My Lady, the Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, kindly take a walk with me down memory lane to about 6 years ago when the Kenyan judiciary took the bold step of introducing performance management in the judiciary. All courts and administrative units signed targets and committed themselves to delivering justice within certain timelines based on 10 measures adopted from the international framework for court excellence. The success brought about by these bold steps taken by the judiciary has elicited a robust discussion between and among judiciaries around the world, as well as scholars, on the pros and cons of institutionalizing performance management in judicial systems. It is therefore critical that we continuously monitor, track, and document the many successes that we have achieved whilst applying international benchmarks that promote court excellence. Since the launch of performance management in 2015, we have witnessed tremendous achievement in key performance indicators in the judiciary. These achievements may be attributed to institutionalizing performance management. Just to mention a few, the judiciary overall case clearance rate was at about 42% in 2015-2016. In 2018-2019, it improved to 97%. Unfortunately, since then, this indicator has been adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, with the period of 2019-2020 registering a drop in performance. On productivity, the magistrate's productivity improved from, and this is actual, 480 cases in 2015-2016 to an all-time high of 958 cases in 2018-2019. And that's per magistrate. It is significant that with the ability to track court performance through data submission daily in the daily court returns, we have been able to identify impediments to the expeditious disposal of cases. All these achievements serve to enhance service delivery to Wanjiku, who is our key stakeholder. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, today we launch the 5th cycle of Performance Evaluation Report. This is a testament of the Kenyan judiciary's commitment to continuously live up to the enshrined constitutional values of transparency, and accountability. This steadfastness can be attributed to the persistent hard work and effort across the institution, coupled with the tremendous support of our partners in the justice system and the government at large. This launch is a culmination of several processes which began in August-September 2019, when over 270 units comprising courts, registries, and directorates, together with other agencies of the judiciary, signed the 5th cycle of performance management and measurement understandings, which we commonly call the PMMUs, during this period. Under its review, courts and administrative units worked tirelessly and with unswerving commitment to ensure full achievement of the agreed targets, despite the challenges and disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to ensure all of us gathered here that the evaluation report the Honorable Chief Justice will launch today is a result of a duteous, step-by-step, consultative and objective process. This report illustrates the performance of the different implementing units centered on the targets they set on various indicators, such as case backlog reduction, case clearance rate, determination of cases within the stipulated timelines, and on productivity. The report also catalogues a myriad of challenges encountered by the implementing units, as well as the recommendations aimed at improving future performance management tools. These recommendations will empower courts and individuals to gauge their performance against both their peers and themselves, with the sole purpose of raising the standards and quality of services to our fellow Kenyans. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, the evaluation process is elaborate and objective, and to a very great extent comprises an accurate assessment of the targeted work going on at unit level. The process combines statistics and activities captured each day in the daily court returns template, that's the DCRT, and an open and participatory discussion conducted at the court stations with resident judges, heads of station, and their teams. This is in addition to production of relevant documentary evidence to support those achievements, together with explanations on any exogenous factors that may have affected their performance. Once the deliberations are concluded, scores are assigned against each indicator. The scores are then computed through an automated platform and then moderated and verified in conformity with the principles of performance evaluation. It should, however, be appreciated that the performance results that we are launching here today are attained against the backdrop of the COVID-19 outbreak, which affected normal court operations. There were instances when courts had to shut down completely or partially, with operations being scaled down as the pandemic spread across the country. Some judges, judicial officers, and staff were not spared. Litigants and witnesses were also affected following government-imposed containment measures, including lockdowns, and which affected movement. The COVID-19 pandemic affected performance across all sectors of the economy, as well as other organizations worldwide. Mitigation of these effects required accelerated digitalization and adoption of ICT-enabled platforms to ensure continuity of service delivery as has been mentioned before. The judiciary was not left behind, as it adopted virtual courts and electronic case management systems, including electronic filing, in a bid to render expeditious services to the public. It is my earnest prayer and hope that we shall not tire in putting our best foot forward as we embrace the culture of accountability through the sustained institutionalization of performance management in the judiciary. Honorable Chief Justice, ladies and gentlemen, this will require us to continue to purposely and intentionally commit our efforts towards building synergies that go beyond the call of duty. Then and only then will we be able to sit back and marvel at the influence and impact we have achieved in ensuring that our fellow Kenyans access justice expeditiously. Allow me to conclude my remarks by conveying once again, and on behalf of the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, our appreciation for the leadership and support we have received from the Honorable the Chief Justice. Sincere gratitude to the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary for supporting and facilitating this extensive and highly impactful process. Deep thanks to the Judicial Service Commission, development partners, individual judges, judicial officers, and staff for support and invaluable contributions that have shaped this report. We cannot forget to appreciate the role of the various players and stakeholders in the justice sector, without whom implementation of this system would not have been a success. At this juncture, I cannot forget to record my deepest appreciation to all the members of the Performance, Management and Measurement Steering Committee, the predecessor of this reconstituted committee, whose tireless dedication, foresight and courage has seen the judiciary reap the benefits of performance management over the years. And to my fellow committee members of our committee, the Director of Performance Management and Organizational Planning, Dr. Kimalu, and your invaluable performance management team, thank you for your unwavering commitment to the work of institutionalizing performance management. And at this juncture, I wish to say thank you all and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Justice Murgo. And kindly, before you take your seat, I would request that you make a presentation of your report to the Honorable the Chief Justice. And we'll have a brief photo moment on the podium. Thank you. Thank you. It's for a better shot. Indeed, what gets measured gets done. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much again. At this juncture, I wish to acknowledge Honorable Jennifer Shamala, who is representing the chairperson of the Parliamentary JLAC, who is going to make remarks on behalf of the chairperson, Honorable Shamala.
Honorable my Lady Chief Justice Martha Koome,
Honorable My Lady Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On a lighter touch, I think we need some humor and some relief. When you saw me walk up and bowing to all these ladies, distinguished ladies there, I was doing that because I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. And I must never forget that. You're not elected to it. It's a lifetime calling. So even as much as I am a member of Parliament, representing special interests, and a member of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, I will always be in the court corridors. Having said that, I want to state that indeed, from what I have heard here today, technology is the greatest equalizer. Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of Singapore, said it was technology and education. And we have seen the benefits of technology during the pandemic. The most positive aspect of this pandemic was the use of technology within the courts. Indeed, it is also with regards to access to justice, because for a country that has the highest internet penetration on the continent of Africa, the courts are literally at a button away on your mobile phone. And in this case, I also want to state that the Small Claims Court is one of the courts that also enhances access to justice. It demonstrates that we vividly need an engagement between constructive engagement and continuous enhanced engagement between the two arms of government, which is the Parliament and the Judiciary. The greatest beneficiaries of this access to justice vision of yours, my Lady Chief Justice, are those discriminated against, victims of gender-based violence and other marginalized people. I mean, I don't need to go into all that because we all know that. And I wish to state, last but not least, that the CJ has embarked on a milestone that will transform the rule of law, and the greatest beneficiary from what I see here today is Wanjiku. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Shamala, for those remarks.
Being an officer of the court, my lady, the Chief Justice, I do beg to seek your leave because I am attending a workshop where I'm needed to present on countering violent extremism, and it is with our chosen generation, the Joshua generation, who are the youth of this country. So I request your leave.
Thank you again, Honorable Shamala, for your remarks. Thank you. At this juncture, I'll have the honor of welcoming the Deputy Head of the Public Service, that's Honorable Wanyama Musiambo, to make his remarks. Welcome.
The Honorable Lady Chief Justice Martha Koome, the Deputy Chief Justice Madam Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate Professor Margaret Kamal, distinguished members of the Judicial Service Commission, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Lady Chief Justice, first and foremost, I'm standing here on behalf of the head of the public service, Dr. Joseph Kinyua, who would have liked to be here personally, but because of duties elsewhere, asked me to come and represent him in this very, very important occasion. Lady Chief Justice, let me just make 2 remarks. One is to be able to congratulate you on your appointment, and more importantly, to congratulate you on this occasion on what that is happening in the judiciary. I want to emphasize 2 things which have already been said by other speakers before me, and it does no harm to mention, even if it may appear as a repetition, because these are very critical things that are happening in the public service. The first is the whole question of performance management and evaluation. In the executive, you're all aware, the executive started this performance management and evaluation way back. We're almost 3 decades now since this system was adopted. And it has given us results. Today, when we look at our public service, and particularly the executive, we see a lot of professionalism, because now we have been able to cut away wastage. We have been able to manage the public service better. We have been able to remove officers who have been lethargic because of this system. Because targets are given, the tools are have been properly prepared, and the targets have been given, and therefore it's always very easy to do an evaluation, which we do every year, and we are able to give rewards and sanctions to respective public officers as they perform. And therefore, this is one tool or one function that we must emphasize, that we cannot just operate in any other way other than being able to evaluate ourselves, to evaluate the officers across government. It is not only one arm of government, but it is across government, to ensure that we give to Kenyans, who are the taxpayers, what is due to them. Point number 2, Lady Chief Justice, is the question of technology, which has been mentioned here severally by other speakers. We all appreciate and know that with COVID, if we had not developed our technology properly, we would not have been able to function as a government, because we got to a time, we got to a point where we could not just, and we had to ask officers at certain levels, certain cadres, to be able to operate from their homes or from elsewhere, just to ensure that we maintain and keep the protocols, the social distancing, and all those health protocols that go with the management of COVID. And because of technology, government has been able to run, because officers have been able to operate and to work from their respective places, whether at home, whether other places, but officers have been able to work, and the government has been able to run without any interruption. And therefore, the whole question of technology is not a question we can belabor, but it's a question that each one of us, across government, the 3 arms of government, building synergy to ensure that we move to another level. Even during the period post-COVID, we don't know when that will be, but we know it will come to be post-COVID, that is the direction we need to move to, so that we don't go back, but we keep improving and improving in technology to ensure that our the service that government provides is efficient, is faster, is reliable, is measurable. In conclusion, Lady Chief Justice, what the Kenyan ordinary person requires, popularly referred to as Wanjiku, is the whole question of quick service delivery. We are here because of service delivery. We are here because of Wanjiku. We are here because of that taxpayer. And therefore, regardless of what we are doing, what the Kenyan expects is nothing short of service delivery. And therefore, I just want to take this opportunity once more to thank you specifically, and to thank the judiciary, because what is happening today, what we are witnessing, is enhancement of service delivery to Wanjiku. And with those remarks, I say thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Musiambo, for those remarks, and again emphasizing the place of technology in service delivery and the whole question of service delivery as very fundamental. Thank you. At this point, I wish to welcome the Honorable Professor Margaret Kamar, who is the Deputy Speaker of Senate, to make her remarks. Welcome.
Thank you, the Honorable Justice Martha Koome, the Chief Justice, Honorable Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgor, the Chairperson of the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, the Deputy Head of Public Service, the Registrar of the Judiciary, Honorable Anne Amadi, all representatives that are here from the various arms of government, including Parliament, and I recognize my sister who has just left. Honorable Chief Justice, today we are here to celebrate you once again. May I take the first opportunity to congratulate you for being the first woman Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya. Secondly, I would like to congratulate you for what you are about to do, which is to launch your vision for the next 10 years. This is an indication that in the last 100 days, you worked tirelessly to make sure that you set a direction that you will follow and that the judiciary will follow for the next 10 years. I congratulate you because without a vision, the Bible says people perish. Without a vision, you would not know where to take this judiciary. So it takes a very intelligent head of an institution to set targets, not only for yourself, but for the institution that you are leading. And for that, I really congratulate you. My second congratulation is to the judiciary as a whole, because of the Performance Management Measurement Understandings Evaluation Report 2019-2010. But the first congratulation really goes to the fact that you are the first ones in Africa to do this. May I say congratulations. When performance contract came into this country, I was in the university. And it took us a very long time to understand what it was, because we thought when you teach, you have taught. But eventually we discovered that there is also bad teaching. Eventually we discovered that it is possible to go to class, one teaches 10, another one teaches 100, and nobody has a measure of who has done what. So performance measurement, management is a very, very important tool. And I'm glad that the judiciary in our country embraced it very, very early. Because it is very important that we measure what we do. It is true that what you measure is what you do. If you don't measure anything, you have no idea whether you have done or you have not done. So this measurement, this performance management and measurement understanding is a tool that will let us even know whether we have moved from 1 year, whether we are performing from 1 year to the next year, and what has not happened. And it is very true, as Justice Murgor said, that it also highlights the challenges that we have, because there is nothing we can do in any sector without challenges. But when you identify those challenges, then you are able to address and move on. So this, to me, is really the best thing that the judiciary did for this country, the fact that you can measure. We know that when we think of judiciary, we are thinking of justice, and we say delayed justice is denied justice, and we become the loudest when we are parliamentarians on that one, and we cling to that without knowing what may be going on the other side. But Madam Chief Justice, I'm here on behalf of the legislative arm of government, and I want to give you assurance that we shall work together to make sure that you fulfill what you have set forward to do for this country. I want to give you assurance on behalf of my speaker, who asked me to bring his greetings and congratulations too, because we recognize the fact that with the incoming of the Constitution 2010, 2 houses of parliament were introduced. And in some instances, we also have conflicts even between ourselves. Sometimes we are inviting you, and the National Assembly inviting you for the same thing. And we have reached a point, and we are glad that we went to court and it was passed that there are some things that we must also consult between ourselves. So that even laws that we are formulating now, there are laws that must be that demand that there must be evidence of consultation. And this is one of the areas that we are looking at currently. So soon, because we are only 8 years old and at devolution, very soon things are going to be sorted out. And a lot of things are going to be done in a more organized manner. Devolution is still the baby in the room in this country, and we believe that we are going to panel pit and things are going to be done. So I want to assure you that all will be well between the legislative and oversight arm of government and the judiciary and the executive, because we are all trying to look at the issues that have really caused the frictions that have sometimes come up. So I want to assure the judiciary that as the legislative arm, we are debating and looking at those issues. Finally, Madam Lady Justice, again, I want to congratulate you because you came in running. You didn't hesitate when you took up the position. You came running. For some of us, we are not surprised because we knew you from when you were in the Law Society of Kenya. In fact, as the wonderful members of the Judicial Service Commission were doing interviews, some of us had already ranked you before they made the announcement. And I want to assure you that with that running that we have started, the country will be different. It will be different because we know the commitment that you had. I do remember very well the times when you sacrificed to be with women every lunch hour in the Bomas constitution-making process. Your passion to see equality of purpose within the country, your passion to see women move into position of leadership, and we thank God that God delivered one to you yourself. And I must say that we are very proud as a country that one of the 3 arms is already led by a lady. So we are already in the 30% that we have been looking for. And with those remarks, congratulations again, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kamar, and thank you for your pledge of support to the judiciary, and indeed also just emphasizing the place of vision. Indeed, people that change the world are people that have targets and that have got a vision. Experts tell us that it is only 3% of people in the world that have targets and goals. The other 97% just live and float. So I'm happy that as the judiciary, we have targets, we have goals, and that means we are going places. At this juncture, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome the Honorable, the Deputy Chief Justice, to make her remarks, and thereafter welcome the Honorable Chief Justice, my lady, Honorable Deputy Chief Justice.
The Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, who is also the President of the Supreme Court, the Honorable Representative of the Houses of Parliament, the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Professor Margaret Kamar, my colleague judges on the Supreme Court of Kenya, the President of the Court of Appeal, the Honorable, the Principal Judge of the High Court, the Honorable Achode, the Honorable Principal Judge of the Environment and Land Court, Presiding Judge of the Principal Judge of the ELRC, Honorable Judges of the Superior Courts here present, Honorable Commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission, and the Honorable Chair of the Subcommittee on the Administration of Justice, the Honorable Mr. Justice David Majanja, the Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgo, the Chair of the Judiciary Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee, together with your members here present, the Honorable Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, my sister, the representative of the Attorney General, Dr. Fred Ojambo, Teresa from the IDLO, all our development partners here present, all institutional stakeholders present, my colleagues, the judicial officers, and our staff present this morning, the Deputy Head of the Executive, Mr. Musiambo Wanyama, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I am pleased to be here today to mark the official launch of the Honorable the Chief Justice's vision, the social transformation through access to justice, and the 2019-2020 performance management and measurement understandings evaluation report. It is indeed apt that these two important institutional documents are being launched together today as they speak to each other. The core principles in this STAJ vision are efficiency, accountability, and transparency. The other, the PMMUs, that have now become standard fare for our institution, speak to institutional, individual accountability, data-driven assessment, and data-based strategic planning. The vision being launched today is not so much solely the Honorable the Chief Justice's vision, but our collective and shared vision, the judiciary vision. This is so because, in my considered view, no single Chief Justice on their own can execute the mandate of a vision, for I say that is the task for all of us. Your Ladyship, the Honorable the Chief Justice, I trust that all members of our judiciary family shall render their unwavering support and commitment towards imbuing all activities and actions across the judiciary with the spirit and principles contained in the vision and in realizing its objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, the PMMU's evaluation report documents the hard work, the effort, and the commitment of judges, judicial officers, and judiciary staff across the institution during the 5th cycle of performance management and measurement understandings from June 2019 to June 2020. The evaluation report Her Ladyship is launching today provides a scorecard of the commitments and targets by the courts on various measures, including the determination of cases within specified time frames, trial date certainty, case clearance rates, backlog reduction, and timely delivery of rulings and judgments. It is a scorecard of what we said we were going to do vis-a-vis what we then did. We urge the public, court users, institutional actors in governance and the administration of justice, and members of civil society to robustly interrogate this important report and again engage with the judiciary on its contents. Whilst we recognize the very good work being undertaken across the country through the judiciary, we also acknowledge that a lot more needs to be done. We cannot improve alone. We require your constructive feedback, your constructive advice. Ladies and gentlemen, as the institution of the judiciary, we've come a long way towards improving our accountability to court users and to the public, whose delegated sovereignty judicial authority we are privileged to exercise. In the PMMU report, we tell the public what we have done towards the provision of quality services. In the STAJ vision of the Chief Justice of the Judiciary, we outline our commitment to do even better. And whilst it is right, and we should be proud to speak about the achievements we have realized in service delivery to the people of Kenya, often in very difficult circumstances, we acknowledge the considerable room for improvement and the challenges that we need to overcome in order to dispense the quality of justice that Kenyans deserve. My dear colleagues, I support the vision, the one championed by Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice, for an independent and adequately resourced judiciary that has a positive impact on the country's socio-economic and human development. I hope that the rest of us support it. Whilst I think it is now widely accepted that the Kenyan judiciary plays a critical role in strengthening the socio-economic development, enhancing investor confidence in the investment environment, and achievement of the national agenda, this recognition should be reflected in corresponding commitment to ensuring that the judiciary is adequately resourced and enabled to play its important constitutional functions. Under your leadership, Chief Justice, the judiciary continues to engage with our partners in the national and county governments, our development partners, and all the other stakeholders in the justice sector so as to deepen our constructive engagements for mutual benefit and, most importantly, for that of the people of Kenya. I thank you most sincerely for your continuing support as the judiciary continues on its journey to transformation into a modern, efficient, and responsive judiciary that will deliver expeditious and quality service to the people of Kenya. Above all, I thank the Almighty God for enabling us to assemble here today. We are thankful for His unmerited, boundless love and grace. And during this I've never been able to pronounce this word right the first time. Unprecedented pandemic. Those of you who went to a group of schools, please help me. I beseech God to comfort those who have suffered loss, to heal those that are currently battling the affliction, and to continue to protect all our frontline workers who so dutifully and selflessly continue to work every day under extremely difficult circumstances to keep us safe. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, before I invite the Honorable the Chief Justice to deliver her official statement and officially do these two launches, to thank those who have contributed to making today's launches possible. I thank all the judges, judicial officers, and judiciary staff whose commitment and passion ensure that the judiciary is continually improving herself in service delivery and our customers' experience. Your collective efforts, our collective efforts, too often overlooked and underappreciated, have resulted in tangible improvements in access to justice for many Kenyans. I thank and celebrate you all, both individually and collectively as members of this institution that we serve. And I ask you to join me in doubling our commitment and resolve to be self-driven to realize our collective vision for social transformation through access to justice. As always, it now is my singular honor and privilege to invite the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya to deliver her remarks on the officially launch the Sustaining Social Transformation through Access to Justice, and also to launch the performance management and measurement understandings evaluation report for the period 2019-2020. Thank you very much for doing what I was just about to say, that we all be upstanding, put our hands together and bring the Honorable the Chief Justice here to talk to us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Please let us be seated. Thank you very much, my sister, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court. Allow me to kindly adopt the very elaborate list of protocols that has been recited here by my sister, the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice, and allow me to thank each one of you for coming to this important ceremony where we launch the two documents, the vision that we envisage for the judiciary going forward, and the performance measurement and management report. Allow me also to appreciate the speakers who have spoken before me for their very, very kind words of encouragement, very profound statements that they have given us this morning. Pledge of support. We appreciate all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all selected very carefully as very, very key stakeholders to come and witness this occasion, to come and support us. And we also take this opportunity to appreciate those who are watching us online, those who are joining us on the various platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and other platforms. Due to the COVID protocols, we could not hold a big ceremony like we are used to. So today you join us as we launch these two important documents. As everybody has said, they are central to the operations of the judiciary going into the future. The vision for the judiciary and the report on the 5th cycle of the performance management and measurement understanding of the judiciary. As the Honorable Deputy Chief Justice has said, two documents speak to each other. On 21st May 2021, I took the oath of office as Kenya's 15th Chief Justice, following a transparent and competitive recruitment process that was conducted by the Judicial Service Commission. And I want to thank all of you who have stood by me, congratulating me and giving me words of wisdom and encouragement. Today, I want to share with you the roadmap for what I perceive as the future of the judiciary under my stewardship. I see my tenure as Chief Justice as affording me and all those who work in the judiciary, the judges, magistrates, judicial staff, and the stakeholders, all of us, we've been given an opportunity to champion the cause of realizing the dream of many Kenyans for a judiciary that is transformative. That dream is to see a judiciary develop into a vibrant, efficient, independent, accessible institution that is responsive to the aspirations of Kenyans and serves as a true guardian of the rule of law and our democracy. It is within this context that I consulted with the leadership of the judiciary, and I'm most grateful for their insightful views and comments, the management, and a small team of my office, assisted by Downberg International, to come up with the vision for the judiciary. This vision builds on the achievements of previous judicial reforms encompassed in the two preceding blueprints: the Judiciary Transformation Framework, which we all know as the JTF 2012-2016, and the Sustaining Judiciary Transformation, SJT 2017-2021. And my vision also is aligned with the Judiciary's Strategic Plan 2019-2023, which we are implementing. Ladies and gentlemen, this vision for the judiciary is drawn from the pronouncement in the preambular provisions of the Constitution that firstly acknowledges the supremacy of Almighty God, who is our creator and author of justice, recognizing that we partner with God to discharge justice. It also recognizes the sovereignty of the people who have donated their power to the judiciary. We have drawn from Article 10 on the values and principles of national governance that guide us, Article 19(2) on the purpose of the Bill of Rights that we will be implementing to secure the human rights of our people. These provisions highlight and affirm that the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is a charter for social transformation. Thus is the anchor for this vision. Further, the Constitution in its values, principles, and rules reflect the desire by Kenyans to break with our country's past, which, as we all know, was an authoritarian governance and an equal society. Thankfully for our Constitution, it strikes radically and paves a different path of creating a democratic, accountable, participatory, and equal state and society. It means that Kenyans, by enacting the 2010 Constitution, intended to create a responsive state geared towards enhancing public welfare and constructing a just society. And just to celebrate this profound Constitution, allow me to thank you for appreciating this bench of women sitting here, because 11 years ago, this bench was made up of men. So this is a transformative Constitution. It is the social transformation foresight of the Constitution that informs this vision for the judiciary, and we have christened it social transformation through access to justice, otherwise STAJ, STAJ. It is a vision born out of the reality that justice is cross-cutting and is a natural desire, a legitimate expectation of every person to be treated justly and to treat others justly. We consider all people and parties stakeholders in the delivery of justice, whilst also recognizing that we, the judiciary, do not serve ourselves, but are established to serve others. The judiciary, under this leadership, will therefore be focused on opening and broadening its doors to litigants and rendering justice to all who seek it within our borders. But this goal of widening access to justice will only be attained when we have a place for efficiency, when we have a place to consider the cost effectiveness of the justice that we deliver, when we have a place to consider how accessible are we, when we have a place to consider how we can be expeditious without turning litigants years on end, and a fair system of delivering justice. Bearing this in mind, this vision is predicated on 5 guiding principles. And these are accessibility and efficiency, transparency and accountability, inclusiveness and shared leadership, independence of our operational mandates, cooperative dialogue, and social justice. The implementation of the social transformation through access to justice vision under these principles is geared towards ensuring that our judiciary is a strong institution that will be accessible and efficient and will protect the rights of all, especially the vulnerable. The team of judges, judicial officers, and judiciary staff are inspired and committed to excellence in the delivery of justice. The institution's financial mechanisms are also strengthened to support the independence and integrity of the judiciary. That we have a place for a strong and deep partnerships with those that we work with, that will enhance coordination in the administration of justice and the public trust and confidence in the judicial system. Ladies and gentlemen, the reforms envisaged are informed by the realization that despite tremendous achievements realized in the past 10 years since we embarked on the judiciary transformation after the 2010 Constitution, we all acknowledge the judiciary continues to face challenges related to access to justice and responsive justice that has been impeded by a huge backlog of cases. And this issue which we continuously address of accountability, because even though we are independent, we are accountable. Addressing these challenges requires an approach which recognizes the gains made, but also seeks to chart a path that ensures that we meet the goal of building an institution that is truly responsive to the public needs and inspires and engenders the confidence of the people that we serve. In addition, while access to justice is crucial, the judiciary should always strive to establish itself as a world-class institution with effective structures, norms, and systems which position us as an engine for society transformation. And this is truly what is envisaged in the Constitution. Towards this end, we will strive to remove barriers to access to justice and ensure that all persons are enabled to seek and obtain redress for their grievances through formal and informal institutions of justice in compliance with the human rights standards. In addition, we will endeavor to ensure that public walk with us this journey because we serve them, and that we will engender their confidence in the institution of the judiciary by dealing firmly and swiftly, but also fairly, with concerns that they raise relating to the integrity and also relating to the issues of corruption that may arise within the institution of the judiciary. To comply with the constitutional demands that we must guarantee justice for all persons regardless of their status, that we must deliver justice expeditiously and without undue regard to technicalities, and take steps to reduce obstacles that hinder access to justice, we will place particular and determined focus on reducing proximity and physical access to courts and ensuring that we hear and determine those cases in all the corners of this country. We should not have any litigants traveling more than 100 kilometers to access a court. And no court case should be dragging in judicial corridors for more than 3 years in a trial court and 1 year in an appellate court. To achieve this, we need everybody's support. The main thrust of this vision for the judiciary is to ensure that we have a judiciary that is efficient in services. I sit in the Supreme Court as the president, and I envisage the same standard that I'll be embracing in that court will be the same standard that will govern the magistrate learning, the smallest court, the small claims court, or the Cadiz court, or the tribunals, all the way to the superior court. We will have the same standards that will be guiding us. What this means is that every court station will be strive to be a center of excellence in the delivery of justice. After all of us in those are lawyers, are trained in the work that we do. To ensure our courts and tribunals become centers of excellence, the judiciary's efforts will be focused on implementing strategies and innovations geared towards eliminating the delay and backlog. This will involve embracing active case management, such that in every court registry, every case will be under active management, either by the clerk, either by the deputy registrar, or by the judicial officer or the judge who is overseeing the docket. We will be reforming the operations of our registries to ensure that all files are monitored so that they don't stay inactive in the registries. Reforming our court practices so that the practice of adjournment of scheduled proceedings is eliminated, and the enhancement of the place of technology in our operations. We will also seek to improve the work environment to ensure that our judges, judicial officers, and staff, members of the tribunals, have an enabling environment that supports optimal performance and improves litigants' experiences. It would be remiss not to mention and express my gratitude to all judges, judicial officers, members of the tribunals, and our very, very faithful members of staff of the judiciary, the directorates, for the hard work they have put over the years and continue to put to ensure that our courts are running. I particularly want to commend you for the innovation you embraced since the COVID-19 pandemic struck us in 2020. The pandemic has changed the way our courts operate. It has forced us to accelerate the uptake and use of ICT in our operations. And I really want to thank all the actors in the justice system, including our development partners. I see the IDLO, our very faithful partner, is here, the European Union, PRINT, the World Bank, the UN, and so many other partners who came to support us during this period of pandemic to ensure that the wheels of justice kept on turning, notwithstanding the devastating effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our aim is to continue to improve our service delivery and to continue embracing and improving on technology as an enabler in ensuring access to justice. The process that follows the launch of this vision is the development of the next 10-year judiciary blueprint. This is just a roadmap that marks the steps we are going to follow, which will guide the operations for the next 10 years. The vision that we unveil today, as we discussed it with the various teams, the very big dream we have for the judiciary could not fit in the normal 5-year plan. Therefore, we decided to think about 10 years. Because we have many, many things we want to do. The judiciary will take charge of the infrastructure development, which, as we know, is wanting, especially in Nairobi. We are all squeezed and sitting nearly on one another in this building, which was built in 1935. The Constitution of Kenya gave us the Supreme Court, but we have not built a home for the Supreme Court. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to join us now to have a dignified Supreme Court and quarter of the judiciary, which is a state-of-the-art building like we have the Houses of Parliament. You'll also join us as we try to establish a home for our Judiciary Training Institute, which is currently homeless since we were given notice to vacate from the places where we were operating in Muthaiga. But we are lucky and happy to report that we have been allocated some land where we'll be also aiming to establish a state-of-the-art judiciary training academy for our judges, magistrates, and staff. We are under pressure to establish mediation suites, mediation and arbitration center for our alternative justice system, and we will also be engaging you to think of how we can have a one-stop shop where all our mediation, arbitration, and alternative justice multi-door approaches we are embracing can be done, because those places are scattered all over town and it's not even convenient to share resources. This is why the plan goes into 10 years, because it looks into the future. The next decade will face out many things that have impeded justice, some of them being the allocation of resources, some of them being the way we operate and handle matters, because we'll be embracing technology, and the collective efforts of all in the justice sector is really, really what we are calling for and what we want to build in this vision, a partnership where there is somebody for everybody, for every stakeholder. In this same vein, I will champion a decade where all the actors called by the Constitution to deliver access to justice collaborate and cooperate with the aim of connecting the ends of justice. I appreciate the executive and the legislative arms of government for their support and willingness to support us in delivering what the Constitution has given us. That is social transformation through access to justice. As you see from the vision, the path the Kenyan judiciary has deliberately chosen since the two blueprints of societal transformation and change the path of accountability and results, the path of transparency and openness, the path of quick and effective dispensation of justice, the path of provision of equality of services to litigants, placing a lot of emphasis on results-based management. We in the judiciary ask ourselves every day, what have we done to earn our keep? This goal of engendering results-based management includes the institutionalization of a reward system for high performance. And allow me at this juncture to really thank and congratulate our performance committee, led by our very able Lady Justice Agnes Murugo and your entire committee for the work that you have done. Please allow them to stand up so that we appreciate all of them, because we are here to celebrate this milestone, which is the first in Africa, because of your commitment and your resilience. It is not easy to visit these judges and look at them on their faces and ask them, where are your results? But you have done it without any fear or favor. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work. To that effect now, because of your work, we are happy to present to you, our dear guests, and our viewers who are following us online, the best performing implementing units during this 5th cycle of implementing the performance management and measurement understanding, PMMUs, in the judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, the results that we are releasing today have categorized courts based on the number of filed cases. They show that the best performing high court stations in different categories were Makueni, Milimani Civil Division, Nakuru High Court, while in Employment and Labor Relations Court, Kisumu and Nakuru were leading in performance. In Environment and Land Court, Murang'a, Milimani and Nakuru courts were the best performing stations. There were 6 best performing magistrates courts in different categories. And these were Limuru, and I can see the Honorable Commissioner Orwande, who just left Limuru for Mavoko. I believe she will deliver the same results for the new station. Marsabit, Mombasa Magistrates Court, Engineer, Tononoka Children's Court, and Gatondo Magistrates Court. On the performance of the Kadis courts, we celebrate Garissa and Voi Kadis courts, who emerged the top performance. The best performing tribunals were the Cooperative Tribunal and the National Environment Tribunal. There was also a category of the best performing administrative units, and what was spotted as the best is the Office of the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. Congratulations, Madam Chief Registrar. Office of the Registrar, Environment and Land Court. Did I see Honorable Makungu? We also recognize the performance of the Director, Supply Chain Management, Mr. Ndosi. And we also recognize the Judiciary Training Institute, which was under the leadership of our Director, Mr. Justice Kaduriman Toineti. Congratulations. Kindly join me in appreciating the performance of these courts, tribunals, and administrative units for their exemplary performance. And we'll anchor a piece of the vision's intention of internal benchmarking to create centers of excellence. We want to know how you performed so well so that it can be duplicated in other stations. So this exercise will commence with Nakuru locals, where we'll benchmark, and I'm told we'll start this with a virtual session where we'll have like a town hall meeting, and many of us will be able to log in to learn from Nakuru how they did this. I take this opportunity to direct the Judiciary Training Institute, the Directorate of Planning and Organization of Performance, and the Chief of Staff to design a performance case studies from this exemplar performance to be used in training and excellence building exercises going forward. We really do not want to lose on this leadership which you have established. We want to learn from it and improve. As I have said, I will not get tired to recognize the committee led by her leadership, Justice Agnes Murugo, Judge of Appeal, for the work you have done in delivering this report, which is very informative. And beginning next week, my office will commence an intense period of these town hall meetings led by the DCJ and I to discuss these findings with judges, judicial officers, and members of staff. Our performance randa will be engaged on how well we serve the public. God bless you, and God continue to guide all of you. And at this juncture now, allow me to officially launch the Judiciary's vision that will inform our development of our blueprint moving forward. When you get that copy, you will see the roadmap of how we will proceed from here until March next year, beginning March next year, when we hope to come up with the complete blueprint, complete with the work plan, complete with the budget of how this dream will be realized, and also to launch the performance management and measurement understanding evaluation report 2019-2020. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your continued prayers. God bless you.
Thank you, my lady, Honorable Chief Justice. We are going to celebrate you in a moment for that momentous speech. There has been a seamless and peaceful transfer of power from Honorable DCRJ, and thank you for taking us through that first session. So I'll take over from now. I would request distinguished guests, honorable guests, that we stand so that we appreciate the speech by the Honorable the Chief Justice. And we're going to do it like this. We're going to appreciate, first of all, the people of Kenya who have trusted us to make decisions on their behalf, and who, as we can see from the speech of the Chief Justice, she's thinking of how we can improve in service delivery. So we're going to appreciate that first category, and we'll do it in a special way. We'll give them what we call the JTI clap, the Judiciary Training Institute clap, which is just one big clap. You just clap, and that is it. So when I say, let's clap, we will. So let us appreciate all the people of Kenya who have relied on the judiciary to deliver justice on their behalf. One big clap. We also want to appreciate our Chief Justice, who has provided us with the vision. She has given us, shown us the way where we, as the people who serve in the judiciary, will follow you as we serve the people of Kenya during the next 10 years. God giving us grace. And I pray that He will also give you wisdom and continue to lead you as you govern us. So can we appreciate our Chief Justice, who has given the vision within 100 days of reaching
All right, so what you're seeing on your screens there is the climax of that particular event that saw the Chief Justice, Honorable Martha Koome, launch what she terms as her vision for the judiciary. And of course, today also saw her launch the Performance Management and Measurement Understandings Evaluation Report for the year 2019-2020. This is happening just slightly over 100 days since she took office as the first female Chief Justice, talking about quite a number of challenges that the judiciary has faced and what she plans to do to change the narrative along the corridors of justice. She's touched on a vision that is centered on 5 principles. And at this moment, I'd just like to bring you in, Steve, as we see those pictures on our screens there. A vision that is anchored on accessibility, transparency and accountability, inclusivity and shared leadership, cooperative dialogue and social justice are some of the pivotal issues she's borrowing to really, lay the foundation for her vision for the judiciary. Listening to her, do you feel like we are in the right hands?
On day one, I think she has captured what is 5 pillars. She calls them principles, but those are really the 5 pillars on which her drive to deliver justice to Kenyans is going to lie on. And basically, most of them are extracted from the transformative 2010 Constitution. And I believe if we put flesh to those pillars, true to her pledge, she's likely to transform the judiciary further and help Kenya's access to fast, swift, but also transparent justice.
All right. She also talked about, making a very public call for what she termed as a state-of-the-art headquarters for the Supreme Court. That is something that really, seemed to have impressed most of the attendees there. Probably as a stakeholder, how pivotal is this, having taken so long for us to get to this point as a country? How significant is this going to be for the Supreme Court to have their own headquarters?
It is so key, and I'm glad the Chief Justice has challenged Kenyans that since we created a bicameral parliament, this constitution created a bicameral parliament and created the office of the presidency and the deputy presidency. And on the executive arm and the legislature, we have a state-of-the-art building, of course, for the deputy president at the annex or to Harambee House. But more importantly, the Senate and our National Assembly have erected fantastic buildings which are skyscrapers in this town. And the challenge to Kenyans is, where is the infrastructure to house the Supreme Court? It was created by the Constitution, and apparently there has been none. But I think it's a challenge Kenyans need to deal with. Aside from setting aside land for the Judiciary Academy, which I'm happy she has acknowledged having been allocated, but it is important that the Supreme Court of Kenya and the judiciary also get budgetary allocation to get a state-of-the-art judiciary. Of course, together with the other arbitration center, what she called one-stop shop for alternative dispute.
The mediation
alternative dispute resolution, being arbitration, mediation, and all forms of mediation and dispute resolution mechanisms.
All right. She's looking at, coming up with ways to ensure that cases don't drag more than 3 years in the trial court and more than 1 year in the appellate court. What's going to be the silver bullet to ensure this happens? The backlog, dealing with the backlog of cases, which has become sort of, if you ask me, a tired topic in the judiciary.
No, she has come a bit different from her predecessor because Justice David Maraga gave a decree that there shall be no cases more than 5 years by a specific date. But I see her taking a totally different approach of bringing all judicial officers on board in setting out these performance management parameters. And introducing also a reward system for the judicial officers and of course courts and institutions that have performed well. So if she has approached a smart system of dealing with measurable and very specific and measurable plus realistic targets, I am sure she's going to achieve.
All right, as you continue having this conversation, the pictures you're seeing on your screens right now, this is the official, launch of the vision of the Chief Justice Martha Koome, and of course today also we are seeing her there launching the Performance Management and Measurement Understandings Evaluation Report for the year 2019 and 2020. But these are two, very important occurrences that were happening concurrently today. And what is being said is that her vision is really going to be centered on just transforming the judicial activities going forward. You have heard her there talking about quite a number of pertinent issues, which include ensuring that there is public engagement so that the judiciary can maintain the public confidence when it comes to its own independence and its delivery of justice. Working with the public as a stakeholder in the delivery of justice as one of the issues she's really holding dear, and also reducing the proximity and physical access to courts. This is quite an interesting point, Steve, if you ask me. Just talking about ensuring that no Kenyan walks more than 100 kilometers to get to a court. How do you find this personally?
For the vast areas of this country, that is really key. When you talk of counties like Tana River, where there is a court in Garsen, there is another court in Hola, the next court is in Garissa. There are areas in this country that are really challenged. But 100 kilometers, Safin, for very densely populated areas, including Vidongoji, Duni in this city, I think is also not realistic, because that target seems to be targeting the vast areas of this country, but not the very densely populated areas of this country. I would have looked at a solution where we have a court in Madare Valley, for instance, in Mukuru kwa Ruben or kwa Njenga, and deep in Kibera. But for a start, I think the target is welcome, and it can be improved when we do public participation.
It can be improved. Thank you, Steve, for that. Let's just listen into Lady Justice Njoki Ndung'u, and then we come back as we climax this conversation.
Chief Justice and Vice President of the Supreme Court, Madam Speaker from the Senate, our colleagues from the executive, from the legislature, my colleague judges, judicial officers, members of the Judicial Service Commission, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My task at this moment is very simple, and it has almost been half done through the JTI clap, which is to thank everyone who has facilitated this event in one way or another. I want to first thank the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court for unveiling her vision, through which we will collectively develop the judiciary blueprint, which will guide the operations of the judiciary for the next 10 years. I think the engaging and collaborative way the vision has been developed is a strong signal to the way the CJ will engage within and with external stakeholders. This model of shared leadership, CJ, is inspiring and empowering to all of us. We thank you very much for entrusting judges, judicial officers, and judiciary staff as agents and carriers of your power in every station across the country. I would like to express in particular my appreciation to Honorable Lady Justice Agnes Murgo and to the membership of the Administration of Justice and Performance Management Committee for preparing the PPMU report, which gives us an indication of the performance pulse of the judiciary. Our gratitude also goes to our partners and collaborators in the justice sector for the roles that you have played in securing the efficiency of the justice chain. Let me thank my fellow judges, judicial officers, staff of the judiciary for your enormous sacrifice and for the work that you do every day as you continue to do the work to give Kenyans the promise of the Constitution of Kenya, and in delivering this vision that has been launched today by the Chief Justice. We recognize all our invited guests and all those who have participated in this event, physically or virtually. You are all key stakeholders to the justice sector, each of you playing a critical role towards the dispensation of justice. It is our hope that we will continue to dedicate time and effort to collectively, effectively carry our duties to ensure the Kenyan people, and indeed Wanjiko, and all those who seek justice are served with sensitivity and promptness. Allow me to thank everyone who has participated in one way or another today. Thank you all very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Lady Justice Njoki Ndung'u. We can give her a JTI clap as she sits down. Thank you very much for indulging. We have reached the end of our program today, and we thank you all very much for attending. There will be sessions of group photographs at the stairs, and I request that you indulge us so that you're able to remember this day in the years to come. The bench will be taking a photo with the Honorable Chief Justice.
All right, so that is a climax of that particular event that has seen the Chief Justice Martha Koome launch her vision, and also the performance management and measurement understandings evaluation report for 2019-2020. Here in studio, we have just been unpacking and just laying it bare. What are some of the expectations as she launched this particular vision? And I've been doing this together with Steve Mogaka, a constitutional lawyer. Thank you, Steve, for staying with us. I don't know whether I should also give you that clap. That's special. Is it a JTI?
This is a JTI clap. We get it. I would have loved it coming from the viewers, but yours always, all the time. Thank you so very much.
All right. So a vision that is anchored on the social transformation through access to justice mantra. As your final word, what's the way forward? What's the future looking like for the judiciary? Is it optimistic from where you sit?
Oh, certainly, because what I hear from the Chief Justice is now a transformation towards a people-centric judiciary, where justice, all barriers to justice are removed, and justice is administered swiftly, firmly, but also very carefully. And I see her delegating her powers and saying the same standard she is dispensing justice with as a Chief Justice must be the same standard that every judge, magistrate, and judicial officer shall be judged for. Literally converting all judicial stations into centers of excellence, so that we truly should therefore not expect complaints from any sector in the value chain in the dispensation of justice. A very tall order, and Justice Agnes Murgo, who led the team that has evaluated, consulted all judicial officers who have bought in this particular target or performance management instrument. I see a judiciary that is going to change.
All right.
So out here, better be ready to have your case determined in a year. So those who have been enjoying with pending cases for decades, too bad for you now.
It's not going to be business as usual. It's good to wind up on that optimistic note. Very quickly, the relationship between the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, that has been something that has been like a hot potato. Today, the Deputy Speaker, Professor Margaret Kamar, affirmed, the CJ of, her commitment on behalf of the legislature to work closely, very closely with her. In the previous, days, we have seen this relationship become quite tricky to balance while the judiciary maintains its own independence. How do you advise that she goes about this? To extend the hand of friendship, but at the same time remain independent.
Oh yes, the Chief Justice and the judiciary is supposed to be functionally independent. And as the head of the judiciary, she is the first PR manager and CEO of the judiciary. And on that note, she has a duty to create relationships with other arms of government and other stakeholders to ensure that all the things that the judiciary needs are supplied in good time. That does not mean that she gets compromised. And that is really what we are saying, that you can be interdependent and still remain independent. And we will hold her on that. And we also appeal to the other arms of government to give the Chief Justice the support she requires, but again, not to take advantage of her by reason of her humane approach to doing her work.
All right, it will be interesting to see how this pans out. Thank you so much for creating time for us today. Lawyer Steve Mogaka there. We are now going to be handing it over to the news team. Jackie Wambiru is going to be updating you on the latest developments in the country and beyond in just a few minutes on lunchtime news. Do stand by for that. My name is Safina Cheng Oma. Our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo, of course assisted by Anwangeshi. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.